Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Studio 78 podcast. I am your host, Nache from NacheSnow.com. Welcome. Okay, so a year ago, I had Monique Malcolm on, and we were talking about goal setting for 2020, goals, pricing, vision boards, you name it. And I saw that episode was getting traction a few weeks ago. So I was like, I need to have Monique back on. So she is back on again. If you all want to hear her story, definitely check out episode 85, nachesnow.com/85, just to get her history. And when we begin our session, she'll tell you a little bit about what she does. But she is absolutely amazing. I would even feel like it's good to go back to listen to episode 100, which you can, if you get the theme, find that at nachesnow.com/100, or if you see it in your, podcast app, definitely listen because, whoa, so many things changed from when we recorded that episode. So many things. So I asked her, I'm like, Monique, can you come back on again? I see people have been listening to our old episodes. We need to tell them what happened, what we did and we didn't do. So she graciously agreed. And I think this episode won't disappoint. Know that we talk about a little bit of everything. We talk about what we thought we were going to do. We talk about what we actually were able to accomplish and weren't able to accomplish and our feelings around that. We also talk about just that this was like a crazy year. And I wanted to make sure to bring up, because even with the social justice movement, a lot of great businesses, in particular, Black businesses, Black female businesses, got a lot of love. But what people never talk about is the flip side of that is not all Black female businesses got a lot of love, right? Like some just kind of maintained or didn't see any movement at all. And how if like you are one of those people, it's okay. I talk a little bit about, I didn't see any crazy traction from that time, but I was surrounded by people who were like really impacted by that, and they had increased sales and followers, and they just really were able to shine. And it's interesting because Monique talks about how it was just their time. So we just wanted to address that too, because even talking to a few creators who didn't get that momentum, they just felt like they were doing something wrong when you really weren't. So I really wanted to address that and just let people know, don't worry about that. Just focus on the future, because we all have like our time, and what's meant to be will be. I'm a big believer in that. So we chat a little bit about that too. And then we chat about just 2021. Neither one of us has really set our 2021 goals. We haven't made our vision board yet. So what you are listening to is just us just brainstorming and thinking through what we need to maybe consider for the upcoming year as we try to hit some of our big goals. And then we just end the episode with just a few action items for you guys. We definitely want you all to create a vision board. We get into the good, better, best goals, audit your expenses, making profit sheets. So we talk a little bit about that. And then for you business people out there, Monique, who is just genius at all things selling, also talks about creating sales funnels. Like she's really been trying to get me to do some video funnels. And so she goes into like her formula for that. So for you business people, definitely have a listen to the end, and I'll be sure to timestamp this episode. So if you look in the show notes, or if you're watching on YouTube, I'll have the timestamps of the different things we discuss in the video, just in case you're like, give me the goodness right away. And if that's what you're looking for. And then, of course, we have 2 challenges for you to do before the end of the year. So lots and lots of good stuff. So just a few housekeeping items. I am going to do one of the challenges, actually, which is to create a funnel and a video funnel of productivity tips, because I am a big proponent of really organizing yourself. And if you do that, you can set yourself up for success in your career, in your business, in your life, whatever it is. So if you guys go to nachesnow.com nachesnow.com/2021. That's nachesnow.com/2021. On January 1st, you will get a 7-day email challenge. So 7 days, I will send you 7 videos and I will challenge you to do certain things in order to become more productive in your personal and your business life. So nachesnow.com/2021. Sign up for it right now. Hold me freaking accountable. I love sharing this information. I need to be more intentional about it. So sign up, my friends. Also, I just want to tell you guys, both Monique and I are on Clubhouse. If you're not familiar with Clubhouse, basically it's an audio chat app and people can go into different rooms. You have moderators and speakers and people in the audience, and you can get called up to the audience, and there's like live chats with just regular folks, influencers, celebrities, you name it. And the trick is like really finding and following people that have topics that you're interested in. But oh my God, the conversations over there are just so rich and engaging, especially when you find that right circle. And so we already did like a goal setting room in that chat, and I'm sure we're going to be doing more rooms. So if you're on Clubhouse, go ahead, follow us. You could just look us up. I'm Nache Snow. She's Monique Malcolm on there. Look us up, follow us. So when we do rooms, you'll get notified. And sorry, no, I don't have any extra invites because it's invite only. But the trick is go ahead, download the app and get on the waiting list. And then you just never know, you might just get in. Or if a friend nominates you to get in, you can sometimes get in faster. So that's like the trick with that. But please be sure to follow us over there. And of course, sharing is caring, my friends. If you find this episode to be useful and helpful, please, share away on email or social, wherever your sharing of choice is, because that really helps people discover the show. And I just want to let you guys know I am now on Audible. So you can literally find a Studio 78 podcast everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Audible. I'm like in all the places. I posted it on YouTube. I feel like I'm official now that I'm on Audible. So really excited about that, because that's just more discoverability. And I've been able to really have some really rich, amazing conversations with people, and to make it more accessible for people where people can listen wherever, regardless of device, is really exciting for me. Okay, and last but not least, of course, if you love this podcast, please rate it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. It really, really helps the show. And if you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. And remember to subscribe wherever you choose to listen, and so you don't miss an episode, because this, my friends, is the last episode for the year. I'll probably start interviewing for the new season into January, beginning of February-ish. It just depends. I usually use the off season to really generate content. I'm going to be creating some products, so depending on how much time that takes, that will dictate the beginning of the season. But I really my goal is to start back up in February. I already have people who have agreed to be on the podcast, and you are going to love them. Okay, so enough chit-chatting. Let's get to this episode. Here we go. We have Monique back on the show.
Hey,
Welcome,
y'all.
Monique.
Hey.
Oh
How are
my
y'all?
goodness. It's been a year.
It
It's
has.
been it's been like a crazy year. So, you know, the episode that we did in December of 2019 was crazy popular. And it's funny because initially I was going to end the season with my last guest, Amanda Reed, because that interview was just so amazing. Her just talking about her calligraphy business and her journey. But then when I started looking at the stats, I saw people that were starting to listen to our old episode again, because it's the end of the year, right? So everybody is
Mm-hmm.
planning. Everybody's trying to figure out what to do next. And I was like, I need to do another goal episode. Let me see if Monique is willing to come back on.
Of course, of course. You already know. It wasn't even a question. It wasn't a thought.
It's just like, what do I have to do to bribe her? um, so okay. So I want to start out with a little recap of what we thought 2020 was going to be, our initial plans, and kind of what actually happened. And so, before I start that though, just like in the other episode, there are going to be some people who don't know us that are just going to click on this as their first episode. So, just to give them just a little bit of a quick background about us, just so they know who we are and how our lives are very different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though we might go about achieving the goals similarly. So, for those of you guys out there, my name is Nache Snow. I work a 9 to 5 job and I do my side hustles on nights and weekends. I don't have any children. I'm actually recently divorced, and I'm not going to go all into that. But if you go to episode 112, it will talk about all the things from hysterectomy to divorce to a move during COVID, which I will touch on a little bit in that episode. So you listen to that. And my business really is the Studio 78 podcast, really inspiring women to pursue their passion. And the way I'm making revenue off of that is selling the Life Cleanse journal. I've also started to get into digital planning, which I'll talk about in this episode. Also trying to sell merch, which is my t-shirts. And even now thinking through what else should I be doing in order to generate revenue, which we'll chit chat about. But in general, that's just my makeup and my life, so you know why I structure my goals the way I do.
Okay. So I am Monique Malcolm, and I tell people that I am like a true multi-passionate creative through and through, much like Nache herself. So I am a full-time entrepreneur, and I skirt the lines or blur the lines by running two businesses. So I have Pimp Your Brilliance, which is my podcast. It's also I also have a membership community or a group coaching program associated with that, the Brilliance Lounge, where I'm teaching people how to take your existing knowledge and package it up as a digital product and then sell it over and over and again and make that passive income. And then I actually started in the physical product space. So I have an e-commerce shop called Keep Chasing the Stars, where I sell my goal setting planner, the Visionary Journal. I sell enamel pens, stickers, like small stationery goods. But that's how I got started in online entrepreneurship with selling physical products, t-shirts and things way back in the day. Like I've been doing this for 10 plus years. But it's fun. It's fun. I love being able to bring ideas to life, and so that's the catalyst behind a lot of the work that I do. And more recently, I started taking on consulting and strategy clients to just talk about how do we create these ideas and then how do we sell them? Because strategy and execution really is my love language. And so I'm like, all right, you got an idea? This is what we're going to do.
Yes, but you're going to dig into that too some more, because I know that's going to be a part of the 2021 plan.
Yes.
So to recap, oh my goodness. So listen back to our old episode, and I'm looking at my vision board now. And I was telling Monique before we started the episode that someone, I think it was on YouTube, had put under my video where I did a vision board. They were like, did this really help? Being that, I forgot how she worded it, but basically because everything changed in 2020, was I even able to accomplish anything on my vision board? And when I look back at my vision board, I had travel in there. Okay. So that
Mm-hmm.
was out. Couldn't even go to Craftcation conference. We're not going to even go there. I had health. I started walking after I moved. Every weekend I walk. So I get up in the morning, like even before recording this podcast with Monique, I walk, I continue to meal plan. So I do feel like I did a lot on that front. I did have get a product in anthropology, but lofty goals didn't happen. I had make on there. I didn't make as much, but maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more. But moving from a house to an apartment, it changes how much stuff you can have and how much
Mm-hmm.
room you have. It changes things. What I could do in a 4-bedroom house, I can't do in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. And I had on here, a modern apartment that I love, and I love my apartment. I'm in the Navy Yard in DC. It's absolutely gorgeous, which is why I think I love to walk. I love the space I'm in. I also had just move on here. I did that. Work out. I have that on here. I did that. I have speak because I did apply to several conferences at the beginning of this year, and I did hear back from one or two, but as soon as COVID hit,
That was
bank,
done.
that was done. And I also had in-person workshops, bank, that
Yep.
was done.
That was enough.
And I had like kind of make and sale, and that ended up pivoting a little bit more to digital products. But because when I listened to our last episode, I was like, I think I'm going to revamp Creative Route, and I'm going to start making these art for these companies, and I'm going to do this. That didn't happen. And I had like get to 1K for YouTube. And I think I'm at 750. So if y'all just want to go over right now to youtube.com/Nache Snow and just hit that subscribe button, that is not too late. But I did increase it. I think at the beginning of the year, I was at like 500 or 5 or 600. I forgot what, but I did see some increase in that. And then I did want 10K per month. Did not hit that. Boo. And then the last thing I had in there was Skillshare Teach. And this was like one area I did slack in because I have one course up there and I have an idea for some other courses and I didn't make space for it. I have no excuse for that. Like I could have done it. There's literally no excuse. So maybe I will actually get another course before the end of the year up. But I mean, if you listen to those goals, there were some that I was actually able to do despite COVID. So how about
Mm-hmm.
for you?
I just let them all go. It was just like, okay, so this year's not happening. So I just kind of was like, all right, guess it's time to do some puzzles and ride on the
Like
Peloton.
done.
Pretty much like the goal is to not die. That was it. Yeah, it's been well, so I think in a lot of ways, a lot of things were paused, but this year gave me a lot of time to find more clarity. So I know going into the beginning of this year, I wanted to do more with the Visionary Journal. I'm
Mm.
basically still at the same place, but it's still around. So there's
Right.
that. I keep telling people this. I was gonna finally get my dream car, which was like this turquoise Jeep that was just gonna be beautiful, and I was gonna be riding around on the beach in it. And this was gonna be the year because my son got his driver. Well, he has his permit, but he's eligible to drive now. And I didn't get that car, but he also didn't get his driver's license, but I got a
All
house.
right.
So I'm just like, I didn't plan to get a house.
Hey.
I had planned for the car, but I got the house. So, it was a
That's
trade-off.
impressive.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
so I feel like, that still kind of worked. And I guess now the car is on like the 2021 plan. If my
Mm.
husband will even agree to it now, because no, we got real bills. We got a mortgage. You like too much bougie furniture. You just need to stop. And I'm just like, you don't know my life, sir. You need to mind your own
Right.
business and stay out
We
of
will
women's
make this
business.
happen.
You don't know my life. But I know another thing going into this year was trying to grow my membership community. And
Yeah.
I'm still working on that. A lot of things changed, and I did a huge revamp, rebuilt the community from the ground up. Like I was on this platform, Mighty Networks, and then I basically built a brand new site on WordPress,
Mm.
started working on like gamification, and I did relaunch, I did create new curriculum, but I haven't done a whole lot to grow the community. However, I've had a lot of clarity in this past 6 months, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
very, very clear about where we're going. And that's going to be back on the goal list for next year, for 2021. However, my focus now is like disrupting the online course industry and making
Mm.
it more fun. So, like, my plan is to make
Mm.
basically my course, I'm thinking of it as like the Dave and Buster of courses. So, you're going to come in, you're going to play these games, AKA do your coursework, and then you're going to get prizes. You're going to get like points and digital badges, and then you can cash them in for prizes. And I'm so excited about this. It's like I'm so giddy about all the stuff. And so now I'm like, all right, I'm really clear on what this is, and I can move. But I did welcome
I
new
love
members
it.
in. I was doing some stuff with that. So, I'm gonna check that off. We did that.
Yeah.
I didn't get to where I wanted, like, enrollment wise, but it still got done. And it's better than it was coming into the year. So that was that. And I don't even remember what else I had because everything got thrown out the window so early.
No, I think it's funny because when I was listening back to the episode, I would just kind of like was jotting notes in the notes app, and that was it. You had like launch community, your book, and your planners.
Mm.
Like those were the three things like that you were like focusing on, and it was interesting. At the beginning of the year, I do feel like it's weird when you look back at the year, especially with everything going on, you feel like you didn't accomplish anything, but actually you did. It's just sometimes some of this stuff is so little, it doesn't feel like you did anything. But when I was listening to the episode, I was like, I did sunset my Tall Girl website, talllook.com. I did sunset the Can I Park Here podcast. I said goodbye to the community and the Facebook group that we built. I cashed out the account that me and my business partner had. So I was like, here you go, and here I go, and all the bills are paid, and this is dissolved, right? So I did take care of those type of things right at the beginning of the year. I did sell my house. I moved into a place. And so it's weird if that all happened in the first quarter. So it just felt so fast. So you
Hmm.
forget about all the little things that like you were able to do. But I'm like, despite COVID, I'm like, I think I got to do at least the important things. And some of the other things that I really wanted to do, yeah, I didn't hit those numbers. I didn't hit the revenue goal. I didn't hit my subscription goal or get the newsletter lists up to the numbers I wanted it to. But it wasn't terrible. I did get the time to like really think through what I wanted to do instead of
Hmm.
just going because I feel like COVID forced everybody to like reassess everything. Do you like where you live? Do you like where you're working? Do you like what you're doing as a side hustle? You know what I'm saying? I feel even though I didn't get to do some of the bigger things, I'm like, at least I got this a little bit of space to rethink about some of the goals that I thought I wanted that maybe don't make sense for my life right now, if that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I think that's what I was kind of getting at when I said, like, I just have new clarity around what I want. There's so much noise online about where you should be income
Mm-hmm.
wise, where your business should be. And with everything happening, the motto that I have adopted this year is there are no rules.
Yeah.
People can't tell me people can't tell me anything about online business now because I'm like, y'all are all making it up. The government is making it up. Like, the whole thing is all made up. And I don't say that in a pessimistic, I'm not going to do anything because it's all made up. But when everything shut down, that was the thing that came to me. It was like, this is nobody knows any of this. We're all going off of trends and best practices and all this stuff, but really there are no rules. And you can do whatever the heck you want. And if you want to have a business that has a huge team, you can have a business that has a huge team. If you just want it to be you, a VA, a graphic designer, and an editor, and like you still grow an amazing business, you can do that too. If you just say, hey, I just need to be able to pay rent with this, and that is as far as you want to go with it, you can do
Mm-hmm.
that too. There are no hard and fast rules about how any of this works. It just kind of goes back to what you just said, Nache, like, how do you want to show up? How do you want to do this? And like, do
Yeah.
you like the business that you're building right now? And if not, tear it down and then just do it back again.
And it's so weird too. And I just want to just talk about this for a second because I feel like during COVID is also when the social justice movement was going on. And everybody's business was affected in different ways for a variety of reasons. So you
Hmm.
had some minority businesses that really thrived and got more traffic and followers than they ever thought they would ever get in their lives. And then I remember talking to somebody else and she was just like, she felt like the forgotten one because she was like, I have a good business out there too. But she was like, I didn't get any other followers. No one cared about my business. But she's like, I have this amazing business and I'm a Black owned business owner too. But I was like, it everybody is on a different timetable. Like to me,
Hmm.
I saw several people that I follow, I've interviewed that thrived during that time. And the way I looked at it is one, I didn't even have at that time any space or mental capacity to deal with any extra traffic, to put myself out there. To me, I was just like, I'm still working. I still was going into work. I was just like, I just trying to survive and I just need to figure out all the things that are going on and then just looking at the news too. Like to me, it just hit hard. And
Hmm.
so my thing is like everybody has like their own timetable of when they're going to get noticed and when they're going to have their time, right, to shine. And to me, at that point, there were amazing businesses that were highlighted and it was just their time. It was their
Hmm.
time to get noticed. And to me, for like other businesses, like even my own, like that just wasn't my time, but that's okay. It's my job to just support those businesses, highlight those businesses, and shine, and then just continue to do what I do within my own time frame. Does that make sense? Because I just heard from a lot of people who just felt like failures a little bit because they were like, oh my goodness, in this time of this social justice movement where people are supporting minority owned businesses, why am I not getting more love?
Well, I have a post-it note stuck to my computer and I wrote it 2016 because I was going through a health crisis and it was you have to trust the timing of your life. And
Mm-hmm.
everything has like a perfect right time, even when it doesn't feel like it. And I had a small boost in planner sales around that time because a lot of people were canceling themselves, even some large planner companies. So
Mm-hmm.
that helped. But I have a friend, an artist friend who like has been selling nonstop since July. Like I'm saying, like having first 10K and even 12K months just selling art.
Oh,
And
that is
she told me
amazing.
it's amazing. And she told me the other day, like her goal was to sell $20,000 in art this year because she also does like some other work. And I think she said she's like nearing 40, and that wasn't
Wow.
even the plan. But it's just, she's gotten some amazing opportunities. And she was telling me about the other day. And I told her, I said, this is your glow up season. Like, this is
Yes.
just your time. And
Yeah.
everybody gets their time. I think what becomes hard is waiting for that time.
Yes.
And like still believing that that time is coming even when you see it's already arrived for other people. And that's
Yeah.
the hard part, especially when it arrives for people who are adjacent to you. And it's easy to be like, well, we're like on the same path. And how did you hit the glow up?
Right.
It's kind of like with puberty. Like, how did you get the boobs already?
Exactly. Like, wait.
Like, we're both here in the sixth grade. How did you get the boobs already? But you kind of have to wait for your time. And that can be hard. It can be really hard. But I think if you recognize that it's just that person's time to shine and you stay on the path, you start hearing and like getting little nudges that like
Mm-hmm.
your time is coming. I've
Mm-hmm.
started feeling like that with the whole thing of buying the house. Like we didn't plan to buy a house. I
Right.
was perfectly fine with the tiny apartment, but then with everybody being home, I was not fine being in the tiny apartment with everybody all the time. Um, it was a
Right. You're
lot
like,
better.
um.
Yeah, no, it was a lot better when they were gone for stretches of the day and I just had time alone. So, who buys a house in the middle of a house that I didn't plan to buy during
Right.
the pandemic? Because you think the houses are things people plan for, saving down payments, all this stuff, and it just kind of the chips kind of stacked in our favor very quickly that we found a place and we had the funds available to do it and move kind of quickly on it. But, my grandmother told me she was like, this is like the beginning of a new opportunity for you. And I feel that like a lot of things have shifted and kind of changed over the last couple of months that I'm just like, if 2020 isn't 2021 isn't the year that I glow up, then I don't know. Then I guess we're being set up for like something super amazing in 2022 because there's already a lot of shifts in energies that are different in my spaces and the spaces that I occupy. But like I said, it's the hard part is waiting for that time. And haven't been quiet enough to recognize when the change is coming so that you can start being
Hmm.
prepared. Because to your point, you could have gotten that amazing boost of traffic and love from people, but what if you weren't prepared? I always think of
Right.
people
Right.
saying like, if Oprah called you, we always say we're ready, especially in like the product space. We're always ready. We want more sales. We want all the sales, right? But if Oprah called tomorrow and was like, "Hey girl, hey, I'm about to put the visionary journal in my favorite things, like be ready," I would be like, "Oh no, girl, I'm not. I don't. Mm-mm.
Like, wait a minute.
Like
You
no,
figure it
not
out though.
yet."
I know you would. But
Oh,
yeah.
of course, I would figure it out because that's just how I work. But I mean, I would be frazzled in the process of
Right.
trying to figure it out. It wouldn't be this exciting, oh my gosh, Oprah is gonna have my planner moment. It would be like, oh my God, Oprah's gonna have my planner. I don't have enough planners, but I'm gonna get enough planners, and then I would be pressed for at least the next 3 months. And
Yes.
that's not how I want to be when she calls. I want her to
Right.
call and I'd be like, yes, I'm already like got something in the works. I'm ready. I don't want it to be like basically I feel like I'm being dragged down the street, like my tie is caught in the car like window, and I'd be like dragged down the street. I'm like trying to bang on the car, like stop, let me like I'm stuck. So yeah, no, I think trust the timing of your life. There's a perfectly right time, and no one can do anything about that timetable until your number is called.
I agree. And it's funny because just interviewing all kind of amazing women, like even like yourself, what I realized by listening to all of these stories, because that's what I do. I just listen and I hear people's stories. Well, how did you do that? And then what happened? And then how many years did that take you? And I think what people see, even when I think of my community, like all of you guys, and I look at like the successes even this year or next year, knowing this story, I know even though, X person all of a sudden got X amount in sales, they've been doing this for 5 years. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like, or I can think of this one girl and she just blew up. And I was just so happy for her because I just remember following her when she had barely just anyone following her. But I know she showed up in them stories every day. She was just on it, right? This was her mission to just really put herself out as the expert of whatever. And I think what people don't realize is it is, like you said, it is that timing and the season of life you're in. But if you love what you're doing and you're consistent and your product is like good, it will happen, and it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. So I just wanted to just chat about that a little bit because I just know I've talked to a few people and I think they feel like they're doing something wrong. But I'm like, you're not doing anything wrong. It's just not your time, you know?
just not your time. It really
Just
is
not
just
your
not your
time.
time. And it's probably somebody else's time. And that's okay too. Because your ticket's gonna be pulled, I promise you. I promise.
Exactly.
It's that waiting game. And I think another thing that we overlook in that is sometimes we're not even ready. And it's not even like ready from a product, like I don't have enough product standpoint. Like we just have things that we have to resolve. Money blocks.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different things. And I think once it starts to shift for you and the connections start to be made, you'll see like everything starts to snowball and move a whole lot faster because you learned the lesson. It's like
Yeah.
you unlocked the next level because you learned whatever it was that was stopping you from getting there. Like you resolved that.
So yeah, so let's get into 2021. 2020, you've been great and you're out. Like, and we're done with you 2020. Even though, I mean, 2020 to me, with all that said, it even with all the crazy, 2020 for me was a good year. I consider it a good year, only because I'm where I want to be. I was able to get a little bit of space to get some clarity, and I didn't get sick. I have my health, and I was able to do what I want to do despite hitting all those goals. So 2020 could have been better, but it wasn't terrible. So looking into 2021 now, for me, I one of the other things that I did is I used to sell my products on the lifecleanse.co, but then I realized I needed to change the name because it wasn't just search engine optimization friendly, because most people who are looking for beauty products or something that's what would be coming up. And so
Hmm.
instead I decided to change the shop arm of nachesnow.com to dreamsplansIdeas.com. And the reason I did that is because I'm like, I think I mentioned last year, I'm like, I want to get more into product sales. I did get into digital sales, so I do sell digital on my main website, and then now Etsy too, just for the Etsy people. And I have some T-shirts on there. I have my journal on there, but I wanted it to be able to live by itself. So if I think big, and it ended up taking off, it can be an entity by itself that can live without me and without my brand. And so to me in 2020, or excuse me, 2021, I want to grow dreams, plans, and ideas, because I feel like the people that's either purchased my digital products or I've given them to test out, they're like, these are good, Nache, more people should have them. And I was like, oh yeah, I probably should market them more, which we can get into later. But when I look at 21, I want to do that. I still want to hit my income goals. I do want to have like a 10K month. I want to market better and focus on marketing. I want to take care of my newsletter a little bit better and be more strategic with that, which I know plays into marketing. I want to create more digital products because I do love to do that. And I really do want to grow my YouTube following, because I feel like video is the future. And when I look at my stats, I think people do love my bullet journal videos and the videos where I'm making things. And so I'm like, I probably could also add some content on there about productivity. So I just want to grow that channel more and then distribute whatever I create to Instagram and my email list and all that. So I'm thinking through that. And the last thing is the courses, because I have gotten good feedback on the one course I do have on Skillshare. I had a larger course which I did take down that I sold on Teachable, but one of the things I did this year is I stopped paying for Teachable because I wanted to rethink that course, and because I wasn't marketing it the way I should have. And so I'm like, let me take it down. Let me at least do the Skillshare route, and then once I find out kind of where I want to take it, then I can create like a larger course that is self-hosted. But for me, those are 2021 goals, which are a lot different than what I was talking about this time last year.
Mm, okay. So I'm still thinking through 2021, but the main things that I know that I already know is one, I'm going to redo the visionary journal in 2021. When I first made the visionary journal all the way back in 2015, I think, or maybe 2014 is when I started creating it, and I had the first one in 2015. The original visionary journals, like the prototypes, the first run of them, the version 1.0, was made in a disc bound planner, which is
Mm.
essentially what the Happy Planner is. But
Mm-hmm.
at that time, I had never even seen the Happy Planner. I just knew what I wanted for my planner. I wanted people to be able to move pages around because planning is often not linear. And so I wanted you to
Mm-hmm.
be able to like take all your pages out, look at your 90-day plan, look at your monthly plan, and then use that to build your weekly plan and then like put everything back and then you execute your plan for the week. But
Mm-hmm.
after a lot of search and research, I couldn't find a company that would manufacture a disc-bound planner that wasn't a conflict of interest because there
Mm,
was someone out there and that would do it in a way that was going to be affordable
mm-hmm.
because it was going to be crazy expensive. So anyway, fast forward a few years, the company that manufactured the Galaxy version of the planner now has
Mm-hmm.
disc-bound capabilities. And I've been thinking
Yes.
about it all year. Like she told me, I don't know if it was the beginning of this year, the end of last year. So I've known for a while, but I am now at this place where I'm like, it's happening next year. I'm so certain. Even if I have to do another Kickstarter, it's gonna happen because that was
Mm,
the way it was intended. And even though I love the Galaxy version and it's beautiful, that wasn't how I intended the planner to be. And so I want to get back to that place. So
mm,
that's a big thing for next year. Building up the community. So I've been doing like a lot of refining behind the scenes and like I said, streamlining the content and all that stuff. And I have a goal. I think my sweet spot is like 100 to 150 members.
yeah.
And I would love to grow the community to that place and be able to give out all these prizes. Because I mean, I made custom enamel pins for like people who finish the course. Like you get a little gift. I made a little gift box that you get. I'm like, I need
People
to
love
send these gifts
gifts.
to people, which means they do love gifts. But even more, I just want to incentivize, like, that's coming from my teacher background. Like, you do your work, you get a prize. And who doesn't like prizes?
Well, people
So
like
I'm
it's like
like,
gamifying it, right? That's what how some of
yes,
those apps work because even when for your I don't know if you have the Apple Watch, but when I like walk more than I've ever walked before, I get my little coin and I'm like, "Ooh, look, I've got a little coin
I
that
get
says
that
I walked
badge.
X amount." Exactly.
Yes. And I want that for my community. So I've already started, like, there's badges and a point system, like, all of that. I've already set all that up. It's just a matter of telling more people about it. So that's a big thing, growing the community next year. Those are the two, like, my two main focus projects. I still want to revamp my fear guide book. I know that was like a
Mm,
thing I was supposed to do this year, and
yeah.
I started it, but I didn't finish.
Mm,
So that's still back on the table as something that I want to do. As a whole, next year, I want to focus on putting out more ideas under Keep Chasing the Stars. So the Fear Guide book would probably live there. And I have a
mm.
series of journals that I want to create that are about helping people figure out their passions. And I think it could be the new chicken soup. Remember those from like in the 90s, like chicken soup for the teenage soul, for the mom,
Yeah.
for the everybody. I
Yeah.
have an idea like that, but it's a journal and it's based around the idea of trying to figure out what you're passionate about. And I haven't done anything with it because I just felt, oh, I need to shop this to like a publisher and get a book deal. But now I'm just like, forget these hoes. I'm gonna just publish it myself.
Just do
Like,
it.
I'm not gonna let them tell me that anything about this. Like, I'm just gonna publish it myself. That's gonna be something I work on. And then, as I mentioned earlier in the show, trying out the client thing again. I'm doing a little bit of that now. I say I'm gonna take it slow, but I already have more requests than I can handle. So I'm gonna
Which
try
is
to, in my
great.
mind, take it slow and not say
Wow.
yes to people when I know I don't have the capacity. But I'm really excited about that because I have a few options that I think are really in alignment with what I do best. And I just want to see, can we make some ideas happen? Can we get some money flowing and let's just see what happens. So I'm pretty excited about what I have coming up the pipeline for 2021.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Even it's interesting. One of my projects the next couple of weeks because I was trying to figure out, for example, if I should do a digital 2021 just planner. And I don't think I'm going to do it because I already have this 30-day productivity planner people can use. And the goal is to just focus on the 30 days. And then once you're done with it, then you have another one that'll be dedicated for February and then another one dedicated for March. But I didn't want to do this big 400-page 2021 planner because I still bullet journal, right? And so I'm like, well, maybe what I'll do, and I'm going to experiment with it when I do my 2021 bullet journal setup, is the one thing that people always ask me is they're like, how do we get our journal to look like yours? So I'm like, I wonder if I could do it like create stickers that'll help people. So it'll be like the stickers that have the different months. So when you set up your months in the beginning of the bullet journal, and the way I structure my pages, I'm just going to experiment to see if I can print the stickers in a way where people can use it to set up their pages. But what I'm also trying to work through, because of course I know the people who are listening to us for the most part are entrepreneurs. And
Mm-hmm.
so how can I tie it back to them? So I'm like, okay, we're always social media planning and or looking at profit or whatever. So I'm also going to try to think through what would stickers look like for those pages. So if somebody is like kind of a hardbound person like me and likes to actually have a bullet journal and not like a journal that's already laid out for them, how can I at least help them beautify it a little bit? Because I know some people are bullet journalers and they don't do no hand lettering. They don't do anything special. They just keep it simple because they like, I don't know how to draw. And so I'm like, maybe I could, even for those folks, give them something that they could use just to add just a little flair to their pages,
A
but
little razzle
then
dazzle.
also make it functional too. So yeah, to me, it's all about experimentation. But if nothing else, I feel like this year, when I look at the things that I stuck with journaling. That was still part of what I do. I did the bullet journaling. I used the digital journal just to like quickly plan out my day and then kind of transfer that information. And so to me, I'm like, okay, what did I enjoy doing? What did I have the capacity to do? And how can I share that with my community? And that's what I should really be focusing on. And if some other stuff happens to pop up, great, but that's going to be the focus. It's like, okay, how can I use my skills that I know that I really truly love and adore and that seem to resonate with people, and figure out like how to make money doing what I love while also helping people. I don't know. So we'll see.
I think you can do it. I think it's
Yeah.
possible.
So yeah, so just kind of like, wrapping up here, just like how we did last time, people are like, okay, Monique and Nache, these are so great. Yeah, you guys are going to do all these things in 2021, but how are you going to do them? So for you, Monique, are you going to create a vision board?
Yes, I am. And I'm actually going to do a vision board event. I'm doing a private one for a friend, and she works in like the health space. And so I'm doing one
Mm,
for like her group. And then I'm going to do one for visionary journal users in the beginning of January. So, yes, totally doing the vision board. But I tend to not do my whole board in one day. I like to leave
mm-hmm.
white space so that as things come throughout the year, I can build onto it and add to it. So I never feel super pressed like that the vision board's going to be wasted because I
Mm,
didn't put like the full vision. Because we often don't have the full vision on January
right.
1.
No, I love that. I'm going to definitely. So it's funny. So I always get a green bullet journal every year. And so I'm holding my journal out to the camera now. You can't see it. And last year I got like this gold foil Snow 2020. It's all gaudy. Like, yeah, 2020 is going to be the bomb. This is a new decade. This is going to be great. So so every year my journal has been green. This year, when I went to the store, I'm like, I'm switching it up. I got a plum journal, and in it,
Oh,
little itty bitty tiny letters, I got Snow 2021. I was like, I'm
2020
just gonna
beat
be
you down.
under
It
the
was like, don't
radar,
be
and
so
before you
loud.
guys know it, y'all gonna be like, what is Nache doing out here? What?
I love it.
but I like totally switched it up. But in that journal, just like I did for this year, I'm gonna have like a spread where I paste in photos of or images or whatever or drawings of what I want to accomplish, and then just continue to check in every quarter just to see if I'm meeting those goals and being more strategic. And then last year you talked about too the good, better, best goals. Are you doing that? Are you still using that system?
Yes, I am. I'm still doing GBB. So I'm definitely going to be looking at what I want to earn this year coming up. I kind of have an idea in mind, what I need to bust out, and you and I will do this together. I need to pull out my profit stacking spreadsheet to look
Ooh.
at all of the things that I have that I know I want to create, that I already
Mm-hmm.
sell, and figure out what do I actually need to sell to hit the
Mm.
goal. Like how many
Mm-hmm.
clients do I
Mm-hmm.
need to take? How many community members do I need to have on average? How many planners do I need to sell? So that way I know. It just makes it so much easier because it's a lot.
Yeah.
We can always say, "Oh, I want to make 150,000 next year," but then you have to turn around and be like, "Okay, how's that? How are you gonna get to that?"
Yeah. How many
And
do you have to sell?
especially like,
Yeah.
yeah. And if you deal in physical products, is that even realistic? You have $150,000 worth of planners? Because I currently do not. It helps break those numbers down. But yeah, the good, better, best. I am really excited to dive into that. I just have an overall thing in mind. So I'm not sure yet what is good, what is better, what is best quite yet.
No, I love that you say that because one thing I'll tell people that you absolutely need to do, just made me think of it when you were talking about that, is this year during COVID, I looked at all of my business expenses and then I determined what I needed to cut because I knew that would cut into any type of revenue and I just didn't want to waste money. So I would just say, folks, as you're thinking about your revenue stream, make sure you know where your money is going because man, I feel like everything is a subscription now and you will not know that you have been paying for something you're not using.
Nope. And listen, if you can squeeze it, if you can make room for it in your budget, man, go the annual plan. It's
Yeah.
it's a it's
Right.
a chunk of money
Yes.
up front, but like I did for the first time this year, took advantage of ConvertKit's Black Friday deal. I don't have to
Mm.
pay for ConvertKit again until November of next year. And I'm like,
Right.
I'm so excited.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like you really have to look at it. Or if you're like, okay, I'm really gonna only need X for 2 months. I always remind myself, cancel plan on December 31st, so then it will remind me, and you have to literally do it. And something else you said too resonated with me about just how many things do you have to sell? And I always struggle with that. And we talked about that a little bit last year too, because if you don't have a high dollar product, right? Let's say hypothetically I was in a sticker business. And there are some sticker businesses that are making like 100,000 a year and doing like amazingly well. But they're selling a lot of $2.50 stickers.
Hmm?
The volume that you have to sell. And so that is like something to think about because even when I look at what I'm selling, it's weird because I'm like, okay, how many do I really have to sell in order to get there? And it's a lot. I would have to sell a lot of digital planners. I would have to make a lot of commission off of my Skillshare courses. And there are some people who do make decent money with Skillshare courses, but they're usually people that Skillshare has maybe videotaped their videos for them because they're influencers already. But there's other people who make money. And even I think of YouTube, like one of the reasons why I wanted to get to 1K is because you could get the money from ads. But even that is just like a little here and there. And so the question is always what are your big ticket items? And really, with what you're offering, can you make your target? And that to me is a real struggle because even now as I'm looking at all the things, I was like, I'm not even going to do my vision board and my plan until I talk to Monique on Saturday and see what we talk about. Because I'm like, I want to be very strategic because I only have so much time to do things, right? And and when I look at all of my side hustles, I feel like this one has been the hardest to monetize to get where I needed to be. The other ones were like a little easier, and I think I've said this before on past episodes and in group chats before. But this one, even though I'm really passionate about it, is the hardest one to that. It's just the hardest side hustle to get to those like big, big money goals. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's because you need to be taking advantage of funnels. And
Oh, the
I
funnels.
told you a few nights ago when we were on Clubhouse, I was like, funnel everything. Everything's being turned into a funnel. And I think for what you're doing with especially with your digital planning stuff, because again, those are digital products, you don't have to hold any inventory, you don't have to pack and ship anything to
Yeah.
anybody. And I think that you could package it up in a way where it could be recurring revenue for you. You could make
Mm.
money digital planning page of the month. Like it's becoming popular as the iPad is always going to be, I don't say always going to be, but the iPad has consistently been dominant in the tablet space. But with the
Mm-hmm.
Apple Pencil and all of these big companies pushing for more portable things, like Adobe has now Illustrator and Photoshop on the iPad. I've been playing around
I
with it and I'm like,
know.
hey, this is legit.
It is. It
um,
is.
Procreate is
Oh, I
amazing,
love
and a lot of
Procreate.
people are getting into that. The Apple Pencil is revolutionizing like how people are taking notes and writing things. Like the Good Notes app, you can do so much, and there's still so much
Yes.
untapped potential because more and more people are getting their iPads now and they want to know what they can do with them. So I think you have a huge opportunity in what you can do because you can do digital planning pages, you can have a whole digital planner. Last year was the first year I had a digital visionary journal, and I'm doing another one this year. And I just plan to do a better job with like videos and stuff. But like digital sticker packs, and it's a thing now, right? Because all of the big planner companies are moving to it. One of the biggest, I would say, my biggest creative neighbor in the planning space is the Passion Planner, and they
Mm.
released a digital version a little bit ago, like a few months ago. So digital planners, they're here now, and
I
you can do it. So
know.
here you go, right? So you can sell a planner, you can have sticker packs, you can have pages that add-on pages where people can purchase like the the profit stacker entrepreneur page or like whatever that they can add into their digital planners.
Yeah.
But because you already love video, you just need to make yourself some video funnels because the one thing that I've learned about selling planners for the last, I don't know, 5 years, if
Mm-hmm.
you video sells planners like gangbusters. And even though I'd be
Yeah.
over here like, I don't want to make any videos. So annoyed with these videos. I don't do video, right? It never fails. Whenever I do a video about the planner, I get sales like
People,
crazy.
yeah.
So
Even like
it's
what got me some sales, like just out of the blue on Instagram the other day, I was like, I'm gonna go take the Life Cleanse journal and I'm just going to go through one of the chapters and I'm going to just read the questions and then talk to people about how I would answer the questions and then how I would take action. And that generated sales, right? And I was like, oh wow, and that was just me just trying to be helpful, even if people didn't buy the planner, right? So yeah, you're right. Like video definitely
video
sells it
sells
because they can
planners
see
like
it.
crazy. So really it's just a matter and with I think with specifically physical products, but I think also something like a journal, like journaling pages, which are tangible.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to sell. So what I mean by that is like courses and things of that nature, while they're great and information does sell, it takes more convincing because it's harder for people to see the usefulness of it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
you have to do a lot of pushing at like pain points and buttons for people to understand like why they need this course right now versus
Mm.
if I'm already in this space of oh maybe I can do journaling, that would be cool. And a lot of people talk about journaling and I already have the tools and I know I can do it but I need to get a starting point. It's a lot easier to sell because people have a frame for it. Like it's not so
Mm-hmm.
intangible. So if I tell you, great, I have this digital bullet journal and I'm selling you these digital stickers, you automatically know what you're getting.
Yeah.
It's not so intangible where you have to convince yourself, do I really need to know how to create a workbook or whatever like the digital product is. So
Yeah.
I bring that up to say with your funnels don't have to be like in depth with a whole 70 email series, right? It can be simple as simple as you create a series of videos, and at the end of each video, you have a call to action because the videos are really just helping people understand how to set up or implement the thing that you gave them. And it's kind of like it's
Mm.
an example. So you have the Life Cleanse Journal. Great. People always want to know, well, what's on the inside? So you could do a bunch of videos of random pages like, here's a page all about XYZ and talk about your thought process behind, like you said, share the questions and, invite people to think through them for themselves. And then at the end, tell them to go purchase the Life Cleanse Journal. And you can give
Yeah.
away a few pages and collect the email address. And you can send like maybe a 3 or 4 email series to follow up and just talk more about the Life Cleanse Journal. And you can repurpose all those Life Cleanse videos in that series. And it's
Yes.
all just send people to the top of the funnel and let the funnel do the work. But the funnel doesn't have to be scary and manipulative and all this craziness. It's really just saying, here's the product. Look at the product. Here's some mistakes that people might be making with journaling. Here's some ways that the Life Cleanse Journal is going to help you. And then just let the funnel do the work. Just send people to the top of the funnel. And that's
Mm.
really it.
I know. Look, you guys, Monique's gonna also convince me to just go ahead and do that 2021 planner too.
I'm telling you, it's it's funnel everything. Like if you don't
Yeah.
listen to anything else, figure out how to funnel things. And I'm gonna share this. I've never shared this out in any space outside of like people working with me. But I have this framework around funnels and I call it tips.
Mm.
Traffic, invite, pitch, sale.
Mm.
So when you map out your funnel, this is what you're gonna do. The sale is the easiest part. That's the
Yeah.
product. So if your sale is a visionary journal, great. So you write the word tip. I'm not, yeah, tips down the side of your page. TIPS.
Right.
So sale. That's the product that you want to sell. So write visionary journal, whatever your product is. Boom, you got your
Mm.
S's filled. So now we're going to go back up to the top. Traffic. What are 1 to 2 traffic sources that you can use to send people to the top of your funnel? Maybe it's your podcast. Maybe it's your Instagram. Write those down. Then we're going to go
Mm.
to invite. Great. You sent people, you have traffic. You're sending traffic to where? Your invite. Your invite is how you capture people's email address. What is
Mm.
that? It's some kind of lead magnet. It's going to be
Yeah.
different for everybody. Let's just say for me, for the Visionary Journal, it would be grab a sample set of weekly planning sheets. Boom.
Mm.
So we have our
Yeah.
invite. And then pitch. Great. Now, once people you've gotten the email, how are you going to lead them to the sale? What are you going to do? Is it going to be a video series, like a video funnel where you're going to say like, look at all these videos of the Visionary Journal. And at the end, you just say like, hey, go buy the Visionary Journal. It could be an email funnel, which again, just saying, hey, look at all this information about the Visionary Journal. Here's mistakes people are making with goal setting. Here
Mm.
are myths that people don't understand about goal setting. Here's how the Visionary Journal is going to help you. Here's some testimonials from people who've gotten amazing results. And then at the end, you say, go buy the Visionary Journal. And that leads
Right.
to, that leads to the sale. And 100% of people are not going to make it all the way through the funnel, and that's fine. A lot of this is like numbers. If you get to
Mm.
the point where you build a funnel and it starts converting regularly, you can do math and see if I send 100 people to the top of my funnel and 2 people convert every time, great, you have a 2% conversion rate. Now you just need to figure out how to scale the amount of people that you're sending to the top
Mm-hmm.
of your funnel. And it just
Yeah.
becomes a math equation. But the thing is, you have to get the full funnel. And a lot of people mess this up because their funnel is not complete. Their funnel may
Mm.
just be traffic and invite, but there's no pitch. If you don't have a pitch, how do you get people to buy? So you need to make sure
Yeah.
your funnel is complete all the way down. It can't be too top heavy, because if it's top heavy, it's going to fall over. Nobody gets to the sale. But make sure that you complete the funnel all the way down, and then you start tracking your conversion rates. Set up some pixels on your site to track how many people are going to your invite page, how many people are opting in from there, and just start
Yeah.
watching that. And then that's how you're going to funnel everything in your business. This is how you begin
Ooh.
like the systems, right? Because once you have a certain conversion rate, you systemize how you send traffic. So instead of spinning
Mm-hmm.
your wheels trying to create all the pieces of content, create enough content that's going to send people to the top of your funnel, and just worry about systemizing that so you're doing that all the time and letting everything else go. It's going to simplify your
Yeah.
marketing so much.
I know, because once it's in place and you find a system you're working and then you're targeting the right people, like you're right. It is just a math equation and you just do more of it and you make more sales and then boom, before you know it, you've hit your monthly target. I know I slack on my
Pretty much.
funnels. I'm a funnel slacker. My funnel is weak. I am not. That goal. Okay, people out there, 2021 goal. This is what we need to do, people. Monique knows her
Funnel
business and
everything.
she is consulting now. I'm just saying. She's trying to run from it, but I mean, just email her.
No, definitely. If you want to map out your funnel and all that fun stuff, definitely hit me up. One of the services that I'm offering going into the year.
Yes, hit Monique up. Okay, well, oh my goodness. This is hopefully, for those of you guys out there, definitely send us like a DM or put something under any social media messages or the blog or whatever and let us know what resonated with you, what worked for you. Last year, I feel like we challenged our followers to do a vision board by the end of the year. And
Mm-hmm.
I say we challenged them again. You guys do the vision board, do the work. And then I would say that in general for people who are thinking about personal and business. And then maybe the challenge for the business people, the entrepreneurial people that are listening, tips. Do the funnel.
Yep.
Create one funnel, like just set it up, right? Set it up by the end of the year and see what happens using every single thing that Monique just said and see if it works, which I'm sure it will. You just have to do it, just like
You
I
have to
just
do it.
have
And then
to
you have to
do
send
it.
people to the top of the funnel. That's the biggest thing. You can't create the funnel and then don't send traffic.
Yes. Well, very cool. Monique, again, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming on to the podcast.
Always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure.
Well, my friends, that was a lot of information and a lot about us, more than you ever thought you would ever want to know. And I hope you found it useful. I think when I get to talk to my business besties like this, we really motivate each other and it really helps us generate ideas and figure out like what the next steps are. So I challenge you to get a business bestie or a couple of business besties for 2021 that'll hold you accountable for your goals because it really does make a difference. So, as we said at the end, we challenge you to one, create a vision board, and it can be in any format that makes sense for you. Just make sure that it's in a place where you can see it often. And that could be the beginning of your journal or literally a frame. Also, create a funnel. If you're a business, create an email funnel, a video funnel, or any kind of funnel, but create a funnel that will help drive more traffic to your site. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, if you go to nachesnow.com/2021, I promise to do a really good funnel that will help you become more productive. So please sign up for that, nachesnow.com/2021. Hold me accountable. And yeah, we mentioned a lot of resources in this episode. I've linked everything in the show notes for this page at nachesnow.com/123. Haha, nachesnow.com/123. 3. Remember to follow Monique and I over at Clubhouse. You just search our name. We'll be over there. Jump in the room so we can hear your voices and talk to you live. That would be freaking amazing. Oh my goodness. I just love this app, you guys. Just so much engagement. It's great. And it's all audio, so you don't have to worry about looking presentable like on Zoom or anything. It's like genius. So make sure to look us up. And yeah, folks, that is it. That is all. Please rate the podcast 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. If you're on YouTube, a thumbs up. Wherever else you're listening, if they have a rating system, please rate me. And remember, sharing is caring. And yeah, if you want to support the podcast, remember when you go over to nachesnow.com, you could go to shop. And I have a whole bunch of digital goodies. And since I'm taking a break until February-ish of next year, I'm going to be making some more stuff because that's what my nights and weekends will be filled with. So definitely keep an eye on that shop and make sure you are on the newsletter. All right, you guys, that's it. Happy holidays and just happy new year. 2021, it's not going to be like turning on or off a light switch. However, I do feel like it is definitely going to be better than 2020. And I'll take that. I'll take that. All right, you guys. See you in 21. Take care.